right, started the recording. Hi everyone, my name is Kevin from Show Me, and today I'm here with Khan from Uncanny. He's the CTO and co-founder of Uncanny, and we're excited to hear about their first 100 user story. So what I'll do first is sort of let you introduce yourself as well as Uncanny and what the company does, and then you can just sort of jump right in to your first 100 user story.
That sounds great. Thanks. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the invite, Kevin. Yes, I'm Constantine, and I'm the co-founder of Uncanny. Uncanny was built as a tool to help esports players improve their gameplay with the help of computer vision. But Uncanny now helps streamers become professional broadcasters. So we had actually a pivot some years ago. So we turn live streamers into production teams with the use of computer vision and AI. If you look at live stream right now on Twitch, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, all the social media platforms, streamers have the ability to create content all by themselves with a webcam and a video game or live streaming, right? Whatever content they want to produce. But when we looked at the space, it's all public access TV. There's night and day difference between when you turn on a TikTok stream or Twitch stream compared to ESPN. And the reason is, and you don't have all these things, embellishments on a live stream, such as overlays, replays, data cards, ad and brand content embedded in the stream. And the reason is because a streamer is a one-man band. He and she controls the live stream, streams to tens, hundreds, if not tens of thousands of people, all by themselves. And so they don't have the capability to create beautiful productions like ESPN. And so they don't have the graphic skills, the videography skills, the production skills, the producer skills, all the things that you need to create a beautiful productions that we see on live on linear TV. And so Uncanny was built, has now been built to help streamers create a beautiful production. So that's the kind of 30,000-foot view of Uncanny. So I mean, we can dive into how we got our first 100 consumers, or I can kind of tell you a bit more about Uncanny, whatever works for you, Kevin. It's a little bit hard to talk to.
Yeah, no worries. I'm
because
happy
otherwise
to
I don't
keep.
know what to kind of. But I mean, I don't know if that description was good enough. I can go into more details about the demographics and how we kind of pivoted, or we can just go straight into the 100
Yeah, let's
users.
just dive straight into the
Yeah, for
first 100
sure.
users.
So the uh because we're all live streaming, I'll start again. So our primary customer or consumer is the streamer. They will install our product, they will set it up, and then when they go live, Uncanny basically watches their live stream with computer vision. And when something amazing happens, we create the embellishment live on their stream, fully automated without them doing anything. So right there, we had a unique opportunity to kind of interact with our customer in a live setting. So what that means is reaching out to them on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever they go live on their platform, as opposed to, for instance, if you have an app for the dating app or whatever product you're looking at, a consumer app. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to kind of get real-time feedback and real-time engagement on that product, right? You have to kind of lead source those first 100 consumers and then reach out to them and then hope that they can kind of come back to you. For us, we have this really unique industry where everything's live stream. So they're live streaming on Twitch and YouTube, and we can actually engage with them on a one-on-one basis right there. So let me share my screen and show you what that kind of means. Yeah, enable video. So okay, so hopefully you can see my data. So we're talking about live streaming production, and that lives again, like I said, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. So we take Twitch, which is our biggest usership, by half of our users on Twitch, and then the rest are on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. So what we can do is when we initially generated this product or the first closed beta of the product, we worked on Fortnite and I think Call of Duty. But now we expand to a number of different games. But initially we needed users to kind of obviously test our product and get onboarded. So if you go to one of these sites like Call of Duty, you can actually see rate by high to low. The beauty of this is that you can see how many viewers are on a particular channel. So I'm going to take a step back and just give you kind of a market context here. So live streaming, there's about 20 million live streamers in the world, streaming to about 900 million people. Oh, did we drop out?
Nope, I can still hear you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So yes, so live streaming, there's about 20 million streamers streaming to about almost a billion people on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. And what you can do is you can kind of go to picking a streamer. Let's just go to TP, and I'm going to mute the audio for our sanity. And you can kind of see already you have 2,000 viewers viewing this one single person right now. And the way we initially looked at it, well, we're not going to get traction with some of these really big famous celebrities like TP, right? Because you're going to be inundated. You can see the chat here of all the viewers that are watching TP, and this is an advert, by the way, because that's how Twitch makes half their revenue is through advertising. But you'll see TP stream coming up in a minute playing Call of Duty, and this is all of his all of his viewers interacting with him through chat. And he's talking to them. You can see his reaction, etc., etc. And so this is multi-billion-dollar industry. So the way that we approach this, well, hang on, I'm never gonna be able to get his attention, right? And even if I do, he gets a lot of these requests to use their product. So instead, we actually go kind of bottom up, right? Initially, we had very little marketing budget. This is all kind of organic growth. So what we could do with these platforms is kind of hit some of the lower viewer streamers. So you can already see. Actually, I'm not going to do this. This is a little bit difficult to explain. But for instance, you pick up someone with like 38 viewers or 18 viewers or 100 viewers, right? People who basically you can actually interact with, and they will actually see your chat and actually talk to you. Otherwise, you're just never going to get a response. So at this point, what we do is we actually introduce ourselves. We organically say, we actually get interested in their stream, find out who they are, what motivates them, why they're playing the game, what their community is all about. Because gamers and streamers love their community. These 50 people watching her, know her very well, and in many cases, she knows her viewers very well too. So for us, it's really important for us to kind of engage with the streamer and also their community. And then kind of and it takes a while, right? You need to spend a lot of time understanding your customer, in this case, the streamer. And it might take a while. I mean, sometimes it would take you 15, 30 minutes just to have a conversation, just for them to notice you. And then you kind of naturally inject about, you're doing some research. This is what we do. Would it be okay? And critically, would it be okay for us to reach out to you to kind of, show you what Uncanny is? And whenever we do that, it's remarkable, right? You can say, by the way, I'm the co-founder of Uncanny. We have this closed beta. I'm kind of going backwards 2 years ago to what I would say is basically I will type in here, Uncanny is an AI, production team out of the box, and we do replays, automatic replays, overlays, data cards to create a beautiful production for you live on stream. And they would say, "Oh, that sounds really, really cool." And then I would follow up with that by saying, would it be okay if I send you an email or a DM? And then they usually would say, "Hey, absolutely. Reach out to me, my link in bio." So again, this person has contact details, right? So you can subscribe to their channel, which is how they make money. But like, for instance, Instagram, Twitter, right here, business email, right? I can reach out to her by email and say, "Hey, I'm Constantine from Uncanny. we spoke earlier last night or earlier today or whatever it is happens to be on your chat. I'd love for us to find 30 minutes so that we can have an onboarding call. And I would normally create a Calendly account, and then off you go. And for the vast majority, for those initial 100 users, that's how we did it. We literally kind of went through Twitch and YouTube and TikTok and found a live stream that we could actually engage with, right? Because an email or just a cold reach out on a DM is really, really hard, right? They get these things all the time. Whereas live on stream, I can literally engage with this person over 30 minutes, an hour, and it takes a long time. But it's really important because not only are you getting your first 100 customers this way, you're getting the feedback that you need to update the product. And they'll be your biggest advocates, right? They'll fall in love with you, and I still speak to some of the initial 100 consumers or customers now after a year and a half of launching this, 2 years of launching this. So that's the kind of, and I don't have the videos to show you because that was 2 years ago and they're really long, like I said. So the recordings have left, but basically that in a live setting, that's how I would do it. I would start engaging on chat.
Got it.
So
Can you tell me a little
yeah,
bit about like how you developed rapport with them?
yeah.
Like what did you talk about for like the 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So let me just go back. I mean, one thing to do is kind of read up about their life, right? Like this is Twitch, and Twitch is a massive company. If you don't know, Twitch sold to Amazon back in 2015, I believe, for $1 billion in cash, and so they're now a multi-billion-dollar company. And this is the kind of precursor to TikTok, but you can go to these, even if you can go to their bio pages and find out about them. Okay, she's 23 years old, she's at university, so you kind of, and psychology, so you kind of get to understand who they are and why they stream. And that organic kind of rapport is really important. Like it cannot be fake. You can't fake that. And that's why it takes a lot of time to kind of build that relationship, that rapport. And sometimes it may take a number of days to do. And it also, for me and David, my co-founder, we're both huge gamers. We stream sometimes. We're mostly gamers, and most of the people who stream are also gamers as well. So we already know kind of what motivates them, what frustrates them, what they love about gaming and streaming, and what they hate. And so you kind of and you want to read the room as well, right? You have you can read all this chat on the right hand side, and these are all her followers and viewers. And so like reading through the stuff, you can kind of feel out what the stream is about, what the community is about. Is it a toxic stream and community? Some people like that, right? Some people obviously are very very devoted in terms of whether there's LGBTQ or some social aspect of it, or just the fact that they love watching her being funny or stupid or weird or whatever it is. And you kind of have to get that sense of feeling of what that community is about and kind of lean into that. But be totally organic about it. Don't jump in and say, hey, I wouldn't right now. Like, this is live. Like, I could do this right now, but I wouldn't jump in and say, hey, this is Uncanny. We have this product, right? That will just never. You will never get any response that way. And in fact, you'll just get chucked out of the
Hmm.
of the stream. So yeah, just kind of find your steps. The
Yeah.
first couple will be hard, but as you start kind of getting down that first couple, then you kind of know inherently kind of what to say and how quickly you want to get to message it, right? The message that you want to get to. Ultimately, you want them to say, hey, this is what we do. And would you be okay if I reach out to you afterwards, right? And to get to that statement takes sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, right? So you can't, sometimes you have to just kind of gauge it. Sometimes, a lot of times, they will actually lead you to that statement, right? So I'm chatting with you, I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm saying, why don't you turn left or why don't you turn right? Why did you choose that gun? All these things, like, what's this community about? I just discovered you. And then they'll come back to you and say, how did you find my channel? What are you, Uncanny GG? What is that? Right? This is a company account. So many times after probing and having those conversations, they will give you that in, and then you're off to the races there.
Got it.
And also don't leave the stream or leave the live conversation as soon as they've said yes, right? Like you can write that email, have that email composed or DM composed already, and have that in your inbox, right? And then as soon as they yeah, email me or DM me on Twitter or whatever, you can immediately do that. Just step away for 2 minutes, keep the stream on, step away, email them, DM them, and then come back and say, hey, by the way, I just sent you an email for later on, so no need to reply now. And then keep watching, right? Keep engaging, because it's really obvious when someone is in there, you send them email and then you're out, right? That's obviously, again, it's all part of being organic and kind of true to forming that relationship with your first 100 users.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm curious if you could like, with the current streamer that you have on the stream, like looking through her chat, like what would, you don't actually have to message anything, but what would your first message
Yeah, okay,
or chat to
so
this person be?
let's have a look, right? Let's do this for semi-real. So just for context, a lot of this, I don't know why it's so low res right now. A lot of some streamers, okay, that's better. So one thing to note is that we opened this private beta back at the end of 2020, so beginning of 2021, so 2 years ago now, and we've grown to about 28,000 streamers, all organically, without any marketing. So we've actually spent very little money on marketing, just because startup, right? Marketing budget is always tight. That those 28,000 streamers reach about on average 15 to 20 viewers per streamer. So we're at about 100, half a million viewers that we can reach out to in a live setting. So in this case, what I would do is, okay, Ice Rock, she's got 10,000 followers, which is pretty decent. She has what, 50, 60. So this is a great person to reach out to. At this tipping point, sometimes you may not get noticed because 50 people gets to the point where, like I said, a single individual will find it hard to react or interact. So maybe we'll go to another stream later on for like a dozen person or 15, 20 people. But what we do is, and the thing also is the audio is really, really important. So let's turn on her chat. And I apologize in advance if there's any swearing because I don't control this stream.
Yeah, no worries.
So let's have a listen. And actually, maybe we actually do interact. Let's have a look. So I'm gonna turn.
Who the fuck did they kill this time?
So 10,000 streamers.
There's so many people here. What the hell?
I'm gonna turn it down a bit. So filthy casual cosplay wannabe. So obviously this is a big part, right? Cosplay player. We can look at what she has played before. So let's go to her categories. She just chats and just plays Call of Duty. So there are two types of streamers. Also, you have to be aware of the customer that you're going after and what type of customer. So initially, when we were building the product, the first iteration of it was only active for Fortnite and Call of Duty, right? Two of the biggest games, but still just two games, right? And so if you drop into a streamer that doesn't play those games, you kind of wasted that time. So make sure you kind of pre-select, pre-vet those potential users. For her, I know that she just does just chatting and plays Call of Duty. So let's just kind of like listen to what she says and kind of see if there's an in. You can see on the right hand side, only two people are engaging. They're her biggest kind of people. There are people who just look, what's called turn down the volume here. There are people who just lurk, like us, right? Watching her right now without interacting is called lurker. And that's perfectly fine. Someone who just doesn't want to talk, just doesn't want to chat. But in this case, there's 52 people in theory, and there's only like half a dozen people really having a conversation. So this is a great opportunity to have a conversation. In the other channel, if you remember, there were like 2,500 people watching, and the chat was just scrolling and scrolling. Right, that's when you just never get noticed. But so let's just see what she says.
Get to a building where you can get covered.
You running?
In the building.
Well, she's not actually playing, so she's spectating right now. So you can see that she's looking at her phone. She's spectating. She's died, right? So she may look at her chat, and this is maybe a really good way of interacting when she has time to, when she's not playing the game, but she's got time.
All right.
That's how they doing it. They both going from different flanks. Look like.
Well, good news is
And I
we're
got no
up
plates.
where final's gonna be.
Come over here to the building. I got some. I got plenty of plates.
Who that is? Orange?
Not as yellow.
I do believe they're leaving us.
I probably won't go through this because, like I said, it takes a good half an hour to an hour to convert.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go play.
They stayed back.
I don't want to see if I can
That's
make
how
it
they
out
got lucky.
So yeah, you basically just have a conversation. You start chatting away, and then
Who else needs
you know you hope that sometimes they will give you an opportunity to talk about yourself. Sometimes, which really sucks, is that you spend half an hour and there's very little way of you pitching them, right? And that's just sunk cost at that time, sunk time, and you just kind of have to kind of deal with that. But yeah, the smaller the active viewers, the better. We were starting off, like in the 10s and 15s initially for the first 100 consumer. So that's how I did it. And then, I don't have the recording of the actual onboarding, but I have clips of it. So is there any questions on this before I move to some of the
No,
recording?
I'd love to,
Okay.
yeah, jump
Yeah,
into the next part.
but actually, before I do that, you can do this for pretty much all of our industry, live streaming. So on YouTube, there is a live section. So again, we work on YouTube as well. Gaming is somewhere here. Here it is, gaming.
Did it ever feel like, did you ever feel like you needed to like throw a follow or actually sub to the stream? Did that like help at all?
I think it would help, and it's not very much. So sub, for those who don't know, sub is about $4.99 on Twitch, so $5. If you're doing 100, obviously it's $500 there. But if you do it every single time. I only did it a handful of times, so you can do. I think it does help. Sometimes it just doesn't, right? Like they just sometimes don't respond afterwards. It's hit and miss. You don't have to, but it's a good strategy to kind of, for people who you really care about and you think you have a really good rapport with. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, for sure.
Got it.
But yeah, like I said, Twitch, YouTube has all these things. Tells you pretty much exactly the same thing. TikTok has the same thing nowadays. Obviously, given where TikTok is with the congressional stuff. But yeah, you can go to live and you can click on gaming and things like that. I'm not logged in right now. So yeah, that's our entire. It's somewhat unique, like I said to you before, Kevin. It's not like a batch of cold emails or finding friends and families or particular the usership that you want. This is a really great way of doing it because I can literally see her, hear her. I can see her reaction to everything that I say in real time, and then convert her in real time to say, hey, I want an onboarding call. Obviously, the kicker is getting them on that call. Once you do that, it's a half an hour. You literally run through the product, and then I've got some recordings from 2 years ago. How that went. The beauty of recording the onboarding sessions is that you always refine it, and B, sometimes, because our product is so unique in the ecosystem, it gives you content to use later on, and you'll see what that I mean later on. But so let me see if I can. I think this is one of them.
You can do that. It's literally
So,
just plug and play. So.
What's happening here is that I'm just recording my screen with two streamers. This is a software called Streamlabs, which is what they use to stream to these platforms, and our technology sits on top of that very easily. And so I'm running through how to install it and get it running. So where's the volume picture? Let's see.
You can do that. It's literally just plug and play. So
This
Yeah.
is one of the coolest stream features I think I've ever seen. I was thinking of tomorrow streaming with no webcam too, but I'm like, if I don't have a webcam, then people aren't really gonna want to watch it because like they want to they want to have something to interact with, but at the same time, you know, blah blah blah. And then this came up, and I was like, wait, whoa, I don't need a webcam because this is cool now. Like people can actually watch the stream and have interactions with it, not just for the gameplay. And it's like, whoa, this is blowing my mind.
So a bunch of things happen, right? I mean, this is just a clip. I clipped out the cool parts of the stream, of the onboarding. A couple of things happen, right? Like you can see his visual reaction to that, right? He said he'll do something, which is install and use it at a certain date in the future, and then which you can again follow up on because you have a list of who you've onboarded. And 3 is great content to use afterwards for your marketing or whatever it is, right? And also 4, you get feedback on that. Some people will say, "Oh, that's cool, but would you be able to do this, that, and the other?" Right? So you're starting to get feedback on the actual product on the beta. Let's go to another one.
You can do that. It's literally
Oh,
just
that's the same one.
Man, this is something new. Like, it's crazy. I see on a couple people's streams, and it's crazy because like the people's streams that I see it on are like the big streamers that you were talking about, like Dr. Disrespect and Shroud and everything. And I'm like, I gotta start using this like ASAP. I gotta play with this tonight. Actually, just now after this meeting, because I don't have any.
So the same guys. Just later on in the recording. This is Discord, which a lot of you will know about. It's really obviously once you get your initial 100, right, on the call, at the end of the call, on the onboarding call, you've walked them through it, right? And not only do you want to, in theory, the best way to do that is to actually have them share their screen, right? Because you want to verify, you will walk them through it, but you don't want to share your screen because you want to make sure that they're doing it in real time. So that's one really good way of doing it. And then once you verify that they've actually set it up, then you verify when they're going to use it next. And then obviously write that down and have them join on the Discord. So you start building up that, first 100 in your Discord immediately, and start, kind of throwing things out there in your community.
Do you try to jump onto the stream where they're using it for the first time and interact with them again?
100%. You want to verify that they did it and they'll do it, and then you go onto their stream. So this is a long process, right? Like you could talk about 100 people, you have to find them through whatever medium that is, whether you're doing this social media or emails or whatever it is. You then have to get them on an onboarding call, then they have to turn up, then you have to do the thing for an hour, come back a week later or whenever they stream tonight or end of the week or whatever it is, and then verify that they've completed the steps. So yeah, it takes a while, but it's like I said, they're the most important 100 customers you'll ever have.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'll try and find another one for you.
5 kill streak. Right?
Same people. A different guy.
Oh wow! Oh my God! I love it. Thank you for letting me be involved in this. I really appreciate it.
Totally. It's our pleasure.
They're all cool. I got to tell you, they're all cool. Like, my gut instinct is almost to give you feedback right now and say it'd be awesome if you can not have it be the same one every time. That's, like, I understand. Without you saying anything, my gut instinct is that I have to pick one, and that's the one that it's going to be all the time, but they're all cool. They're all cool. Like, I like all of them. If I could have, like, it'd be different every time, that's awesome. I mean, and again, I'm not knocking what you did. It's beautiful.
So, obviously, you got a bunch of feedback there. Yeah, it's just super useful to get those feedbacks immediately, right? Not just to get them to using it, but getting the positive, whatever feedback you need.
That automatically flashes on your stream.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
I had this idea with Warzone that when I got to the top 10, because I saw the option for top 10, I start playing music, and if it announces like it's top 10 left, start playing some music. I thought it would be pretty cool.
Exactly.
So again, user feedback, product feedback. It'd be cool too if I could do X.
No, it's straightforward. I've seen a bit from Tom already. I can always ask some questions as well, but
yeah. So okay, another one. Actually, sorry. Jumping through some of these.
Both everybody's shots.
No, not that one.
I just straps fucking.
No, sorry. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. You can cut that out later.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. Sorry. You had a question?
Yeah. So I'm curious. Do you have a copy of like the first DM or email that you sent to the streamers?
I may do. The problem is it's been a long time, and again, it wasn't emails; it's just DMs, right? So,
Okay.
let me see if I can. Okay, I mean, she was the very first. So, again, yeah, let me see if I can find one for you. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah, no worries. No worries at all.
Trevor Jones, maybe.
This is also something we can
yeah, I think I'd
afterwards.
have to have a look at it because they're all in DMs, I think.
Got it.
And
so I'm a little curious about like the, so in that message, like what was the offer, right? So so you mentioned that it was going to be a beta, and so at that time you were going to offer the service for free.
Yeah, so actually it's still free for the streamer. So we were never going to charge the streamer for using it.
Okay.
We were always going to charge the viewers who would donate. Normally you donate through Twitch or some third-party company. The idea for us, because like I said, there's 20 million streamers and you charge them $10 a month SaaS product, right? But there are 900 million viewers, and if we can charge them $1 each, then that's a bigger market right there, right? And it's also recurring. It's not a monthly SaaS. It's anytime you want. So you can do it as many times as you want. So the market was just much bigger to do that. So it meant that it wasn't like, hey, you get to use Uncanny for free for a year if you join me on this call. Which I know a lot of people do if you're charging the direct consumer play, which would be a fine way of doing it. For us, it was just, hey, because I jumped into this person's stream, it was just, hey, this is Constantine Sang here again. Just a reminder, Uncanny is this product, and I think you'd be a great fit for our initial 100 users, something like that. There was no offer of money or free product or anything like that. Just it has to be, at some point a value add, right? And so for us, it was always going to be free, so we were never going to charge for that. We didn't want to say, look, here's $10 for jumping on or $50 for jumping on, because that doesn't build up a good product, right? You don't know whether they're doing it because of the product or the money. So
got it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Uncanny, like the overlay, like the interface has some basically method for the viewers to like throw a couple bucks.
Correct. Yeah. So we still do onboarding now because the way that we monetize is to have either a QR code on their stream or a chatbot on the chat. So you can have a chatbot here that throws up a link and people can do it that way. Right now, we just started monetization like back in December last year. So we've had to kind of start that onboarding again with some of our employees to kind of reach out and say, hey, you're a current user. Can you also stick this on your live stream as well? So that's been a new ongoing process. Yeah.
Got it. And then when for the recording of the onboarding session, is that something that like were streamers receptive? They were fine with it, or like how many of them said yes? How many of them said no?
Well, so everyone that obviously replied to the onboarding actually did it, right? There were very, very few exceptions because they've already taken the time to give you half an hour. And the overwhelming response, I mean, here's something that I think I put up a very old Excel, which I found from some time ago. and you can start looking at how many. So this is a period of like I think a month or whatever it is in 2021. We kept going, right? It's not just your first 100. We did this constantly, right? Just to randomly sample streamers, looking at how many positive statements, negative statements, neutral statements, bugs, feature suggestions, and you start kind of getting an idea of where you're at as a product, right? And they'll tell you like negative things, I whatever that happens to be. So to answer your question, a lot of people who agreed to onboard used it afterwards, and you kept using it for months afterwards.
Oh, I mean like you mentioned it was really useful to record the onboarding calls.
Yep.
And then this is something that I can imagine a startup founder, wanting to do, but maybe feeling uncomfortable to ask. And so, would love to get your take on like, did it feel like were people a little bit like hesitant, or
I see.
people down just in general?
So most people were down for you to record them. They're they're live streamers. So luckily, again, in our demographic or industry, that worked out really well. They're used to being live and recorded anyway, right? You can always ask them and say, look, this is not going to go public. It's just for me to review so that I can improve. Just be genuine about how you're going to use the content, right? Obviously, don't record them without them knowing. Don't show it without other people, make sure you have permission, basically. And 9 times out of 10, they're really good with it. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then can you tell me a little bit, like generally the funnel percentage? So like, how many streamers did you engage in with a conversation to said yes to a DM to got on an onboarding call?
That's a really good question. I think I would say at least about 80% of people that we reached out to, we DM'd, and about probably half of those would actually go on to the onboarding call and actually do it. And once they're on the onboarding call, they're largely they've installed it because again, I've asked them to, hey, would you mind sharing a screen if you be okay with it, and I can run you through it. And then again, because this is a live stream, I can go back and verify that a week later when they go live on stream, and actually not just to verify they've installed it, but it's actually working properly, right? Especially with the closed beta, brand new tech, state-of-the-art tech, computer vision, AI tech. Want to make sure all the bugs are squashed, and the way to do that is this live production of it. So again, we were very conscious of one thing, which was that because they've effectively given us permission to do whatever our product does live on their stream, and that's really powerful, right? It's one thing to do that when you have 10 viewers watching, but it's different when you have 1,000 people watching. And if your production is janky, if things come up at the wrong time, basically if your product's broke and is live to 10,000 people or 1,000 people, that really sucks. It'll just turn you off, right? So it was really important for us, the responsibility that we had to make sure that product worked really well. So starting from bottom up meant that we could ensure that, right? We could iron out all the bugs with the small streamers who are bought in, who like you heard, loved being a part of this unique opportunity to test out our product. So, but yeah, like I said, it was like 80, then 50, 40%, and then then it was 100% from there because it was so easy to onboard them and they loved the product. So
yeah, that's awesome. How did you guys determine, particularly with with a computer vision product, how did you guys determine like, hey, this is good enough to trial with beta users?
So basically, what is an MVP? Is your question?
Right. Yeah.
That is a good question. I think it's. I mean, you have to release at some point, right? If you look at some other, we didn't really know. To be honest with you, we didn't know whether we had enough to make a product out of it. if you look
It
at the
kills
first
streaming,
version of the product, right? You go to live.uncanny.gg, you have the game that you select, you have what's called the modules, like what type of overlays, whether it's a replay or AV effects or whatever it is, and then you have the AI settings, right? And then you have an export. That it's literally the most basic of products. Like there's no skin on it, right? But if I show you what it looks right now, it's night and day, right? Obviously, it's been a number of years, but yeah, we have a proper landing page, value proposition, proper logins, OAuths, and then you have your canvases, or in this case, the actual games that it looks like a full on software product, right?
Right.
So how we knew, we had to test that, right? That's a good thing to test, and there's no real way of knowing until you feel comfortable releasing something. Well, you actually shouldn't feel comfortable releasing something. It was so janky, but you have to start somewhere. So the replays, people told us that's a really unique thing. Going out to, again, you can do that months in advance before you kind of define what that product looks like. You can go in here and talk to people, right? Like, even if you are look at that. This is one of our first users. She's live on stream.
On the porch.
What you can do is you can go on to these and just chat about what your idea is. Hey, what do you think about if I created an AI that watched your live stream and did all these things, right? And they'll give you feedback, and you can do that's easy, right? Because then you can do hundreds of those and get that feedback and say, okay, well, if I get 70% of people wanting instant replays live on stream, over 500 people, that's pretty good indication that if you build that, people will use it. Yeah.
And so in that like first, I don't know, first batch is the right way to describe it. How many Twitch streamers or how many streamers do you think you ended up reaching out to total? Like 500, 1,000?
No, I think. Well, so I mean, to get to the first 100, I probably reached out to 200 or something like that, or 150 to get that one initial 100. So, but like I said, finding that the qualified lead, that 150 takes time, right? And each one you spend so much time. So it's not about it's more about quality than quantity, right? Because like I said, your conversion funnel is so good because you have this ability to interact and build a rapport, a relationship, right? As opposed to getting a cold marketing email from your LinkedIn or your email, right? That will never fly. You need, if it's a 1% conversion, you need 10,000, right, to get your 100. So, but for us, you can look at you spend the time and then usually convert.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys try any other channels or methods?
Nope. This is it, because it was just so powerful. We could get our feedback like you saw on those recordings, right? You could install them, make sure they did it, get the feedback that you needed, whether it's good or bad, and then verify afterwards that they've done it. And then you go back and repeat that process. I saw you streamed with our stuff yesterday. What did you think? Love to have another, kind of final call, right? Whatever it is. So no, the first 100 was this is the exact same this method I just showed you. Awesome. And we didn't do any emails. I mean, no gamers don't read emails, right? They're 15 or 25 or 30. They just don't respond, right? Whereas this is much more organic, and you can kind of see who you're dealing with as well. So, and also I would say that that's the first 100, right? And I can show you. Let me just see what else there is in this folder. Yeah, so, and then we moved into influencer campaign. So I would say that's from, 1,000 to 10,000 or 20,000, right? The first, 1,000, a few thousand to 10,000 is influencer marketing. And that's a slightly different beast. Obviously, you're now trying to cast a wider net, with a team of 8 people or whatever it is initially. Like, this becomes untenable, right? You can't build 1,000 people like this. You got better things to do. So obviously we went to influencer marketing. But before I talk about that, do you have any questions about the first 100?
No, I don't think so. Unless okay. There's anything you think that we missed.
No, I literally, like I said, this is exactly how we did it. And this lady, Control Quinn, was literally my very first person I reached out to. So
That's
it's
so
funny.
cool.
She's literally live streaming right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, once you pass 100, 200 people and you've got that knack down, you've got the feedback that you want about, the good things, about things, you then have to scale, right? So again, live streaming, influencer marketing is a really good way of doing it, because Gen Zs, Gen A's understand TikToks, which is our main platform. You can do Twitter, IG, but TikTok back 2 years ago obviously was massive and still is. And so what we did was, now we have about 47,000 followers. Initially we had no account, of course, and we started reaching out to some of these streamers that did streamer tips. So you can, in this case, there's two ways of approaching influencer marketing. One was to do the game that we supported, or to do just streaming tips, right? So people are looking to do to create a better production. They're trying to understand what mics to buy, what software to use, how often should I stream, what to stream, how do I become a streamer, and all these what's called streamer tips, how to become an influencer. And so that was also a subsection that we could reach out to find those people and say, hey, I got this product and I'd like to market that. Would you? I'd love to have a conversation. What turned out to be our very first influencer became my first employee for social content. So I will show you what that looked like back in late of 2020, and show you the 3 videos. Or actually, there's 2 videos here, but I paid them for 3. It was $1,000, and it got us basically the first 1,000 people. This converted about 1,000 people from 3 TikTok videos that lasted 30 seconds each. So 1.5 minutes total. Paid them something like, I think, $1,000, and we got 1,000 users, roughly, or 1,200, something like that. But so it turned out to be $1, CAC, customer acquisition cost. It was $1 basically. So I'll show you the video. It's pretty cool.
Streamer tips. I'm going to show you how to set up instant replays for your stream in under a minute. Best part, it's all run by AI, so once you set it up, you don't have to touch it again. First thing, go to the link in my bio to get started. Then click this top panel. We're going through a website called Uncanny GG to set this up. Right now it's still in closed beta, but with my link, you get full and unlimited access. Single sign on with your Twitch account, then you'll be on this page. Pick which game you want to play. Apex coming soon. And from there, pick a component. These are the different alerts that'll show on stream. You have instant kill replays, game-triggered hype, vitals, and map location. Next, pick a component to edit. For example, if you pick game-triggered hype, you can pick from any and all of these alerts and preview them on the page. Or if you want real-time map tracking on your stream, there's that option too. Just make sure you don't cover your map with any overlays. To track you, the AI has to see the map. Once you're done editing settings, click Save. The export tab will open and there's your browser source link. Next, in OBS, go plus and browser source. Copy that link into the URL slot, and next time you get a kill, it'll replay it. Ah, it's so cool!
So 3 videos that were basically like that, spread over, I think, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think one a week, I think, actually, with his schedule. And he was so good at it that we hired him to run our social media accounts and influencer marketing. So here's another one. Les Game is one of our biggest. So she has 1.1 million followers on Twitch. This is one of her first campaigns that she did back 2 months after we launched our closed beta.
Streamers, you need this add-on for your streams if you want to be unique and stand out. It's by Uncanny GG. Set the streaming bar higher with instant replays, game-triggered hype, etc. I promise you need this. With millions of streamers, make sure you stand out. Get this beta with the first link in my bio.
So that's a very effective way of reaching lots and lots of people, right? And even if your conversion is low, back when we were working with her, she had like 300,000 people following her. Now she's up to 1.1, right? She still works with us. So that's a really effective way of getting to your message out really quickly to lots of people. It's hit and miss in terms of content marketing, whether you'll get a good conversion. It's sometimes really good, sometimes really bad. Like I think our worst performing campaign cost us like $10 per customer. But our best performing did like 2 cents or 3 cents.
Oh, wow.
We paid someone, actually I have his content here. I think. Let me see if I can find it real quick. This guy, One Hit Wonder. I think we paid him $150. He got us 1,000 people. So
Wow.
it's like 10 cents a CAC. So I mean, if you watch the video, you can kind of see why.
I've talked to you a lot about how to grow on Twitch and how one of the most important things you can do is stand out as a streamer. And one of the easiest ways to stand out is to jump on every opportunity to make your content better. So let's imagine for a minute there's a new tool for streaming. And as if by magic, this tool knows when you get kills and gives you automatic replays. Automatic replays. But that's not all. Maybe you're sweating really hard and putting down the kills left and right. Well, the magic tool sees that and puts hype overlays on your stream. 2 kills in 1 minute. 5 kills in the bag. Now, of course, if there was a magic tool like that, it would probably be in closed beta. But what if someone on TikTok had a link that let you bypass the wait list? And what if all you had to do to get this magic tool was go to a TikTok profile and click a link?
Yeah, so that worked out really well. He was one of our best.
Wow.
The content is very unique. As you can see from Noctwolf, who's our guy now. He was very matter of fact and kind of ran you through the whole onboarding, right? In a 30 seconds, TikTok, right? So that's really effective. But this one's kind of mysterious and pretty cool. So yeah, the other thing about content marketing, influencer marketing, is that you can see everyone's comments, and it's all public, right? And so you can judge how you're doing, and this is all for prosperity. So I can't fake this. I can't. It's all real, right? So, it's the first, from 1,000, from a couple of hundred to 10,000. This is how, and we still continue to do this right now. Sometimes I think 2 weeks ago we hit a 900,000 view video basically on our TikTok. If I can, can't find it, but yeah. So
how did you find these people?
Again, yeah. So what you can do is these hashtags, right? So the TikToks has streaming tips or streamer, right? Streaming tips. So if we just pull up streaming tips with a hashtag, it'll just come up with all these people, all this content. I mean, here's my guy right there, right? So yeah, you can just go in and let's say I want to.
If you stream for at least 3 hours at a time, you should definitely be taking a break in the middle. But it can be scary to get up and walk away.
So you can go through this content. You can go to her profile. I don't know who this person is. 12,000 followers. So that's a great way of doing it, right? Like if you're, especially when you're in a closed beta, funds are limited. I think we spent over the last 2 years only about $8,000 on marketing with influencer marketing to get to the 28,000 users. So yeah, with a relatively small followership like this, they usually have a beacons page, and then you can kind of reach out. And look, she streams on Twitch. She has merch. How do I reach out to her? Probably her Twitter DM, right? So we go to her. I can message her right now. So that's a really effective way. Sometimes people close their DMs, so that doesn't work. Or you can just record that this is someone I want to work with. You go to, and then you actually literally go to her Twitch account, because her Twitch account tells you when she's streaming. So this is her. Gives you the schedule. She doesn't have a schedule, so but she had streamed 20 days ago, so she's not a huge streamer. But you can do the work, right? We can repeat that process, and people will put their schedule. They usually put their schedule up here, and then maybe it's tonight or tomorrow night, and then I can write it down and say, I need to talk to her about working with us. So
got it.
Repeat that initial process that I mentioned as well.
Right. And then how did you pick, who did you think might be a good fit, or were you worried they were doing too many sponsored videos or anything like that?
Yeah. So like I said, so streamers and streamer tips, or just the industry in general. I'm a streamer, I give tips, or I'm a Call of Duty player that streams Call of Duty. That's a great way of doing it too, right? It's good, kind of narrow focus on there. In terms of viewership, for instance, once you get to about
make your cheap webcam.
Sorry. Once you get to about 200, 300. I mean, this is a great person to. I think actually I might have contacted this person before, but up to about 200, 300,000 followers is a great indicator that you can reach out to them. Once they get above about 500,000 followers, they tend to have agents, and it
Mm.
gets expensive, and you can't talk to them, right? You have to be able to talk, and we still have this problem today. Trying to reach out to the most famous streamers organically is almost impossible. You basically have to know a friend of a friend, because they'll just push you to an agent at that point. But yeah, so kind of finding that sweet spot of, okay, 10,000 followers to 500,000 followers with a personal contact, and it'll be pretty obvious that they'll have an agent with them or not, because they'll send you to an agency, right? You can see either the email ends in an agency, or their DM is closed, and reach out. Let's say contact my agent or whatever it is. So here, this person has a beacons page, and then you can reach out to them through. So this person doesn't allow Twitter, but so that's how you pre-qualify them. And then again, you don't know how, if they're oversaturated with brands. You just have to kind of find that out when you have a conversation with them. They'll normally tell you the rates, how much they charge, or they'll ask you how much is this program gonna cost. So they'll ask you that information when you talk to them. That's never public. So yeah,
got it.
This is always deal to deal.
Cool.
Sometimes they do good deals for you if you're small, if they like you, or they're just not interested if it's above a certain threshold.
Nice. Well, we're about out of time. Thank you so
Sure.
much for taking the time. Just last thing, are there any socials or anything you want to plug, or anything exciting happening soon?
Well, we're currently raising an equity crowdfund, but I think by the time this posts, it'll be too late. Just if you're a streamer or a gamer, check out uncanny.gg, and you'll find all of our information there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.